In this video, I want to look at the relationship of idea explanation. Idea explanation is abbreviated as ID, EXP, as we begin to arc a passage. The definition of idea explanation is the relationship between an original statement and one clarifying its meaning. The clarifying proposition may define only one word of the previous proposition. It may define the whole proposition, or it may just point to one word, as we'll see in our example. The key words you're looking for with idea explanation generally is the words "that is." That is, as a clarifying statement, expanding on the idea and explaining what's being talked about. Sometimes I've come across passages in which the word who or which or with which can point to the idea or the relationship of idea explanation. But most commonly you're going to see the word that is, or you will be able to see those words implied in the passage. Sometimes if they're implied, they're not there, but if you read them into the passage, you can see that that's the relationship that is being used here. When we arc this idea and explanation, we'll use these symbols ID, EXP, and then draw one arc over both arcs, over both propositions, to note that it's the idea explanation relationship that is at work in this passage. Let me give you an example of idea and explanation. Mark 7:2. They saw that some of his disciples ate with hands that were defiled, that is, unwashed. So we see the first proposition here is they saw that some of his disciples ate with hands that were defiled. They were eating with hands that were defiled. This is what they saw, that some of his disciples ate with hands that were defiled. And then we have our key words, that is. So we have an idea, and then that is points us to an explanation of that idea. Unwashed, which is a one-word proposition where the disciples eating with unwashed hands is all implied in this one word. So let's write this out as two separate propositions, and we'll arc this out. They saw that some of his disciples ate with hands that were defiled, comma, that is, unwashed, period. So then we can label our propositions 2A and B, draw an arc over the top of each proposition, and we can see that what's happening here is a main idea that's being presented. There's a main idea that's being presented, and there's a further explanation of what would have been unclear to Mark's non-Jewish readers, that is, his readers that didn't have a Jewish background, to understand what the Jews meant when they said eating with hands that are defiled. And so Mark further defines that, he further explains that idea by inserting that note that they were unwashed. So we can label that idea explanation and draw one arc over the top of those two propositions, and that's an example of arcing idea explanation.